Okay, yeah. afternoon, basketball fans, as we welcome you to the Rose City for a non-conference matchup between the Portland Pilots and the Evergreen State Geoducks. The Pilots come back after a road trip to Stanford and the sunny beaches of Hawaii, going 2-1 on the road trip. Evergreen State, on the other hand, is 0-2 on the season coming into today. I'm Brian Slack. I'm joined by Jennifer Mountain, and we'll have your call for tonight's game. The Pilots struggled at times on the road, but finished strong with positives to grow going forward. The Geoducks, they've got a small roster, but they work hard. So, Jen, what are you expecting in this matchup tonight?
Well, it's going to be a great test for Evergreen State, and then a game where really they can come back home. Portland can come back home from being on the road and really just focus on themselves. They're healthy for the first time this year, which is going to be a huge key moving down the road and getting a lot of people in today.
Well, one of the more productive players for the Geoducks is Caitlin Yenny. She's done a good job in the 2 games so far for Evergreen State, Jen.
Yeah, a guard that's averaging 12 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, can really shoot the 3. She plays really hard defensively, plays a ton of energy. Evergreen State's going to really need her to get going from the 3-point line if they want to have a chance today.
And speaking of her getting hot, what are the other keys for the Geoducks to get the win inside the Child Center tonight?
Keys for them are, number one, they have to handle Portland's pressure and limit their turnovers. That's going to be a big one. And then staying in rhythm offensively. The way Portland plays can really take people out of what they want to do, so they've got to stay within themselves. And then third, they've got to rebound. Don't have a ton of size. Portland has the advantage there, but they've got to do a good job on the boards.
Meanwhile, for the Pilots, today we're going to be taking a look at the 3-point specialist, Maddie Mulheim.
She is a 3-point specialist, all-time leading 3-point shooter in Portland history. She's averaging 7.5 points a game, but Brian, she's really been injured for the majority of the season so far. She's come back. She can really shoot it from deep. Has, really worked on her game in the offseason and gotten better, expanded a little bit. They really need to look for her early in transition today, and I'd love to see her get going early.
Well, the Pilots, you said they're coming home. They can work on themselves. What do they need to do to get the win against the Geoducks?
Well, number one is they need to get off to a great start. Balance, get quality shots. 2, they've got to get the ball inside because they have a huge advantage, and then finish in the paint, not only with post players, but with their guards. We've seen that all season. And then third, limit the turnovers. We've talked about it all season, talked with Coach Meek about it, and it's getting better, but their goal today really should be 10 or less.
Let's get you the starting lineup for the Geoducks. Out on the court, number 10, Monique Bungay. Number 11, our player to watch, Caitlin Yenny. Then Jalen Sackrider, Trinity Batoni, and Rachel Watson will be on the floor for Evergreen State. They're announcing the lineups right now for the Pilots, but we got it for you. On the floor starting, it's going to be Emmy Shearer, Haley Andrews, Alex Fowler, Maddie Mulheim, and Lucy Cochran, who has been spectacular in her short time on the bluff with the Pilots.
She really has, and she's added a new dynamic that Portland has not had with the duo inside. Alex Fowler, everybody knows what type of player she is. She gets scouted left and right. She's strong, she's versatile, but now they've got a shot blocker behind her, and they've got somebody that really passes well. So that combination of those two inside, that's very deadly and something so far that we've seen a lot of good things and positive things for the Pilots.
Well, the Geoducks, they're coached by Jackie Robinson. He's in his 3rd season, technically only the 2nd season. They didn't have that season last year because of COVID. 6-19 record overall for him. For the Pilots, it's Coach Mike Meek. In his 3rd season, he's already won himself a WCC title. In his 1st season, back-to-back winning seasons, he's done terrific things in a short amount of time as well.
He really does. And when talking with Coach Meek, he thinks this is the most talented group that he's had. So, you look at all those accolades in the last few years, and there's a lot of high expectations for this group.
The Geoducks in black with Geoducks in green across the chest. The Pilots in white, Portland in purple across the chest, and the Pilots have won the opening tip.
So right off the bat, Evergreen State doesn't have a huge bench, so they're going to go right here to this zone and make Portland really shoot it well. Nice high-low from Lucy. Good job. I have a feeling we're going to see that combination a lot today.
Geoducks bring it up the court. Bungay with it. Trapped near the sideline. Has to throw it in the middle of the court and saved by Yenny. Evergreen State usually uses 8 players out of a 10-player roster.
Yeah, they certainly don't have a lot of depth, and right now they're looking to go off these on balls, and good defense by the Pilots with that 30-second violation.
And that'll be a turnover, so Pilot basketball. And you talked about Lucy Cochran and what she can really do and the matchup problems that having Fowler and her out there. I think a lot of people need to think about Liana Kaitu'u as well. She's got some nice moves down on the post, and she can do some damage as Fowler feeds Cochran this time, gets her own rebound, gives it back to Fowler. Free throw, jumper, no good.
I agree totally, Brian. I mean, the thing is she brings a little bit different game when she comes in. She's a little bit more versatile. She can shoot the three, but she's strong. He doesn't have the shot blocking ability that maybe Cochran does, but just a little bit different. And she's playing with a lot of confidence. You know, she's been injured with that knee, and I don't think it isn't even phasing her anymore.
Bettany with the bank shot, or Batoni, excuse me. Moheim with the three.
And she's been shooting those for the last hour and a half out here before the game even started, and that was a great attempt.
She took over the #1 spot on the three-point list in the last game of the season last year. Shearer with the steal and the easy lay-in.
And that's what Emmy Shearer does right there defensively. Long, lanky, gets her hands on balls. Great job in the open court, and super athletic.
Cochran doesn't put up a hand, but it's an air ball for Evergreen State. Andrews brings it up.
Again, Evergreen State in that zone.
And they left Moheim open. They're fortunate that she hit back iron.
Yeah, you don't want to leave her open too many times on the floor.
7-2 lead right now for Portland. 7:42 left to go in the first quarter, and a travel call. You know, we talked with Coach Meek earlier this weekend and just sort of recapping their road trip and their game against Stanford. Is a beautiful pass right there inside to Fowler and the finish underneath. You know, he didn't really like how they played in that first half, but in the second half they more rallied, regrouped, and played more of the basketball that Coach Meek is used to seeing out of his players.
Right, he was concerned with the start and just the, you know, the competitiveness right from the get-go. You know, maybe some nerves in that game playing the defending champion. But very happy with the second half and got some people going and then rebounded and went to Hawaii and did a nice job of getting 2 wins on the road. And
this ball goes off of Fowler and out of bounds. So Evergreen State basketball. And the press put on by the Pilots. Yanni's pass blocked by Andrews. Fowler has it.
Well, and this is just pressure that they have not seen.
And the bunny miss for the Pilots.
You know, that's the second or third one that they've missed like that. And, you know, Coach Meek is not going to be happy with that.
Shearer hits it from outside.
He will be happy with that, however.
Evergreen State 4 turnovers now in the last 2 minutes. Make it 5 with Moheim converting. And it's 14-2 in a blink with 6:46 left to go in the first quarter. And Evergreen State calls a timeout. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back inside the Child Center. Brian Slyke, Jennifer Mountain with your call. Haley Andrews and the Pilots with some suffocating defense over the last few minutes. They forced 5 turnovers in 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the Pilots are on a 12-0 run during that span.
Yeah, everything going in the favor of the Pilots right now. And again, Evergreen State just having a hard time with the pressure. Not getting in a rhythm. Nice job there.
Batoni with a nice pass to Sackrider.
Good timeout and good answer by Evergreen State. Again, they're staying in that zone.
Back out to Shearer. And she tried to thread the needle into Cochran, and there were 3 Evergreen State players right there. And that's actually something we've talked about in the last couple of games here is they try to thread that needle a bit too much.
Yeah, just trying to make the big play instead of the easy play. You know, right there, she had position, but just not a great angle to make that pass, to be honest. Decision making, you know, in a game like this right now, it's not going to be a huge factor, but in a game where it's 1 or 2 possessions could be a huge deal.
Andrews, the offensive rebound and put back off the glass.
Great anticipation.
Good steal to give to Andrews. And the players fight. She can't convert. It'll go out of bounds. Evergreen State basketball. Keely Frawley and Rose Flug checking in. Andrews and Shearer to the bench.
Well, it's really nice, like we talked about, they have everybody healthy for the first time, and now he's going to get a chance to see some different lineups, different, you know, matchups, and get some minutes for people who have been, you know, basically sitting on the bench watching.
Cochran with the block. Go ahead.
She just has great timing, you know, good frame, good timing.
She set a new career high in blocks against Stanford in the first game of that road trip. Burnham off the mark. Long rebound for Portland. Into Cochran at the free throw line. Burnham to Frawley. Pass back. Puts it up at the buzzer and no rim on that one. That'll be a shot clock violation.
And Coach Meek is telling her she needs to shoot. Maisie needs to shoot the basketball. She had 2 opportunities right there that she gave up. Passed up on.
In trouble picking up the dribble, the pass down the sideline and out of bounds. Into the hands of Coach Meek.
Good catch.
Kaitu Uch will check the ball in.
And here's that combination inside that we were talking about earlier. Just a little bit different. And that's a shot right there.
Burnham from the elbow, no good. Kaitu goes up for the rebound. No foul called when she's trying to put up a shot. Cochran with the size advantage. Out to Frawley, the corner 3, no good. Rebound Evergreen State.
Well, I think just too many easy opportunities missed by Portland. I mean, obviously the big lead, but that's not going to be what today is about.
Burnham with the steal. Going up against 2 Geoducks. Partially blocked by Yenny. Gets the loose ball. And now we've got a whistle. Foul on Yenny. Her first, team's first.
Good job of crashing the offensive glass.
Emily Sewell checking into the game. The Pilots on a 14-2 run over the last 4.5 minutes, but just one of their last 7 shooting from the floor.
Yeah, and I think they've missed some easy ones that they generally don't miss.
Frawley, hesitation there. And she misses. Evergreen State, no points in the last 2.5 minutes. They've got 8 turnovers in the last 5 minutes. Yenny gets it inside. Taken out by Shanice Garrett. Tasha Beckett can't get it to go.
Nice little take. She just needs to drop her shoulder and go into the defense right there.
Burnham tries to go baseline. We've got a blocking call. That'll be on Trinity Batoni, senior from Henderson, Nevada.
Looks like she got a little Charlie horse in the leg there, too.
Trying to walk it off. Into the corner to Burnham. And that's a 2. She was on the line.
Good execution against the zone out of bounds, and it's a great shot for her. One that she passed up a minute ago.
Yep. Full court pressure, making things difficult for the Geoducks. Loose ball near the sideline for Portland. 15 on the shot clock. Beckett's pass Brought down by Batoni. 3 on the shot clock. Batoni fires. Iron. And it'll stay with Evergreen State. They'll get 20 on the shot clock with 2:53 to go.
Well, good job of Beckett of crashing the offensive glass there. Rose has got to do a better job of putting a body on somebody and blocking out down low.
Mulheim checking back in. Burnham to the bench. Inbounded to Jalen Sackrider. Yenny drives, picks up her dribble. Sackrider near the elbow, drives. Sewell on defense, blocks it. Garrett into the paint, going up against Mulheim. Tough shot off the glass, falls.
Nice take to the rim and good finish.
Garrett, a sophomore from Sonora, California.
And they really needed that.
Pilots swing it around. They find Mulheim near the corner. She's short. Offensive rebound by Frawley. Her pass tipped, going out the Rose Flug. Back to Mulheim. Kicks it out to Flug for the wing 3. No good. Another offensive rebound, and Frawley the putback.
Portland's got a lot of opportunities from the three-point line that just aren't dropping. You'd like to see them get their feet set a little bit earlier before that pass comes, shooting in rhythm. But great job on the offensive glass.
Portland just 2 of 9 from the three-point line as Batoni hits the 3 for Evergreen State. Pilots 2 of their last 10 from the floor. Kaitu'u went baseline and the pass too far in front of her, turnover. Haley Andrews and Alex Fowler checking in. Kaitu'u and Flug to the bench. And the Pilots again in full court pressure.
And it's kind of nice with a different lineup like this. You can play people in the press a little bit different spots.
Garrett shot off the mark. And yeah, this will be a good opponent along with Warner Pacific on Tuesday to really work on that press before you get into conference play. That shot off the mark again, and now 2 for 10 from the three-point line are the Pilots.
Well, and the thing is right now they're getting any shot that they want offensively. And I just think right now they don't have their feet set before they're shooting the basketball. Oh.
And Fowler lost it as she was going up. 20-9 lead with a minute left to go in the first quarter.
So far, not a real physical game.
And that one will go on Keely Frawley.
Right on the mark.
That'll be her first and the team's first. Only 3 fouls so far in this quarter. 55.9 seconds left to go.
Yeah, it's been a really clean game so far.
Shearer and Cochran checking in, along with Monique Bungay for Evergreen State. Watson inbounding. And Andrews pokes it away from Yenny, and it'll stay with Evergreen State. She thought it went off of the Geoducks.
That was a good try. She kind of swiped from down below to get it off her hand, but I don't think the official was in position to see it, quite frankly.
Bungay with it. Going up against Emmy Shearer. Yenny's pass inside, gets it to Beckett, and hits the jumper in the paint.
Well, and Portland's letting them hang around here, just, not shooting the ball well, a couple silly turnovers.
There's the classic Andrews move, spinning in the paint. And back to an 11-point lead, 22-11. And you're right, Jen, 10 of 25 so far shooting for the Pilots, and they've missed a bunch of easy shots in the paint. Beckett lost it. Fowler gets the steal, 12 seconds left in the quarter. Andrews pass, the feed to Shearer, and blocked by Yenny. It'll go out of bounds and stay with the Pilots.
Well, they've missed some easy ones in the paint, and they've also missed wide open looks from the 3 and shots that, the right people are shooting it, so just not in rhythm.
Pass to Cochran in the paint, back iron, no good. And it'll be one and done for the Pilots. And that will end the quarter 22-11. The Pilots lead after the first quarter. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Well, a tough shooting performance in the first quarter for the Pilots, but they still find themselves up by 11, 22-11, as we start the second quarter.
Yeah, they only shot 20% from the three-point line and 38% overall. And, you know, just watching that timeout, I think Coach Meek's not happy with their performance in that first quarter. Yes, they have a big lead, but it's really just how they played.
It almost seemed like, as the Pilots quickly down the court there with two passes, Fowler to Molheim, Molheim to Shearer. But almost as if it was sort of going through the motions, a bit slower tempo than we're used to seeing with the Pilots in that first quarter.
I would agree, and again, just not playing with that intensity that they normally have.
Garrett with the floater on the baseline. Fowler's pass swatted away by Rachel Watson. Tasha Beckett checking back in. Watson to the bench.
You know, Portland caused 10 turnovers in that first quarter and had 9 points off of it, which is not a bad.
It's passes like that where it probably could be a bit more crisp from Fowler to Shearer to get a better look. So they got it around, and offensive rebound, Fowler off the glass, no good, and a foul is called.
And she just doesn't seem to have that fire right now. Finishing strong, kind of falling back a little bit.
Foul on Beckett, that'll be her first and the team's first as Fowler makes the free throw. 70% free throw shooter last season. Of course, an all WCC first team selection. Bungay up the court, Molheim trailing her, and Shearer comes up with the steal.
Good hands by Shearer.
Andrews able to get that ball and convert it into two. Shearer's got 3 steals now.
Good catch by Andrews, and that could have gone the other way pretty easily.
And one of those turnovers, then immediately turn it over that we've seen far too often. Molheim trying to get the steal, and I think she'll get called for the foul. She will. That'll be her first personal and the first one on the Pilots.
Well, I like what they're trying to do. And, you know, they cause a turnover, and they're trying to transition and go as quickly as they can. But sometimes we just go a little bit too quick, and then bad decisions are made.
So now we're getting a couple players who are getting their first chance on the court tonight. That's Kelsey Lindsay, Mikkel Meek, and MJ Bruno. A couple of these players were dealing with some injuries over the last few weeks. They got in against Prairie View A&M in that last game while they were in Hawaii. And it's just good to see the healthy roster up and moving again.
For sure. I mean, MJ Bruno brings an energy, and she's going to do a lot of different things. Meek, you know, she can shoot it. She's worked on her game in the perimeter in the off season, and you know, this is the first time we've seen her live all year.
Fowler picks up her first foul, the second one on the Pilots. So at the line is Jalen Sackrider. 3 points now on the afternoon to go along with 3 rebounds and an assist. Hey. MJ, yeah, she came up to us before the game started, and you're right, she just has that type of energy, that feel for the game. And we're excited to see her back out on the court in the lineup. Fowler skies for that rebound, puts it back up inside for 2.
Well, probably a little bit too early of a 3, just coming in right off the bench. Give yourself, you know, a trip up and down the floor to get warm, but normally a shot that she's certainly capable of hitting. Great offensive board.
Garrett's shot off iron, offensive rebound. Batoni's shot off balance and gets the bounce.
Friendly bounce.
14-point lead now for Portland. Inside to Fowler. Cochran went baseline. They kick it out to MJ Bruno. Open for the 3. And off target. Liana Kaitu'u checking back in. Cochran to the bench. And seemed like Meek, I couldn't quite hear what he was saying, but was he encouraging MJ on that one or asking her to do something different?
Well, he was saying it's a good shot if you're in rhythm. She was kind of messing with her knee brace or her sleeves there, and the ball came. I don't think she was quite in rhythm, ready to shoot it.
Garrett's shot. Nowhere close to going in. Pilots back down the court. Kaitu'u has it near the baseline to Meek. Bruno. Back to Kaitu'u. They're keeping it on this side of the court. Fowler in the paint, going up against Sackrider. Can't get it to go, but Kaitu'u cleaning it up.
Well, nice use of the short corner there. You know, right now, like I said earlier, they're getting any shot they want, and a lot of shots inside the paint. That's where they've had success anyway.
Bungay puts up the high pass, but Tony ends up with it. Garrett. Gets it to Sackrider, the baseline jumper doesn't go, rebound Fowler. She's got 6 rebounds and 8 points. Meek to Lindsay. Now Kaitu'u makes a move down the baseline. The acrobatic shot doesn't go.
Yeah, I like that move, actually. She is athletic and really can make things happen.
I think they called a kick on Lindsay as it went out of bounds. It'll stay with Evergreen State. 6:05 left to go in the second quarter. 16-point lead for the Pilots. They lead 32-16. Flugas checks back in for Portland. Bungay, the runner from just inside the 3-point line, doesn't go. Offensive rebound for Watson.
They're doing a good job of crashing the boards. We talked about that, you know, being a point of emphasis against a team that they definitely have a size advantage over.
Sackrider using the glass.
She's got a nice little touch, actually.
She's got 5 points now in today's contest. Pilots trying to beat that zone. Bruno, strong off the glass, no good. But Tony gets it across the timeline.
You know, sometimes when you've been sitting out or you've been injured, you so want to make something happen when you go in, and just forcing the issue a little bit right there. Coach Meek's going to make a quick little timeout here and have a little chat.
And that will extend to a full as we're close to the media break. So 32-20 after the baseline jumper falls for Sackrider. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Well, about halfway through this second quarter right now, and Evergreen State hanging around with Portland. 10 points for UP, only 9 points for the Geoducks. And we have just under 5.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Brian Slyke and Jennifer Mountain with your call.
Well, right now, bright spot for Portland, 22 points in the paint, and that's something that we've talked about. But what they're doing is they're struggling from the three-point line, shooting 17%, and had pretty good looks at it. You know, you'd like to see them continue to get the ball inside, but they've got to be able to hit the perimeter jumper as well.
Mid-range, in and out. Burnham the rebound. She can't get it to go. Gets her own miss. And no foul called as 3 Geoducks come away with the rebound.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little body right there on that offensive board.
Portland just one of their last 7 from the floor. Yenny puts up the 3. Rebound Burnham. That's her 3rd one. Steal by Bungay. 2 Pilots in front of her. Gives it up to Batoni. Drives in the paint. Trying to get a kiss off the glass. No good. And a foul called on Evergreen State.
Well, Burnham comes in and just automatically gives you rebounding on both ends of the floor. She's athletic. She's got some length. And, you know, some really can get off the floor pretty quickly.
Haley Andrews checking back in. Lindsay to the bench. The Pilots on a 2-minute and 15-second scoring drought. You mentioned their three-point shooting at only 17%, 2 of 12. And a lot of those have been open looks. Kai Tu'u splits the defenders, and Burnham gets fouled hard as she cleans up the rebound, and she'll head to the free throw line for 2.
Well, great high-low entry right there. Just missed the shot. And then again, there's Burnham crashing the offensive glass and getting herself to the free throw line. Second chance points are going to be huge throughout this game.
Foul called on Rachel Watson. That's her first and the 3rd one on the Geoducks in this quarter.
I just love the energy that she brings every time she steps out on the floor. You know, we talked about, you know, Big Sky Freshman of the Year, and I think this is a great fit for her. This program, how they play, is a great fit.
Yeah, she just brings that high energy, the defensive mentality you see right there, coming up with the steal and the pass to Kai Tu'u. Oh, but they can't finish. More of the same for Portland as they bring it out. 15 on the shot clock.
Good decision by Flug to kick that.
Banks open on Sunday for Andrews. She can't believe it went in.
Well, I like to see her shoot the 3. I've been talking about that all season long, and sometimes I think she distributes a little bit too much, but I like to see her look for that.
Probably poked it away. Yenny ended up with it. Well, last season, Andrews was a 32% three-point shooter. No good. Rebound slapped around. And Watson had it, taken away by Andrews. She's pushing it up to Flug.
Numbers.
And Yenny trying to go for the foul, or for the ball, excuse me, picks up the foul. That'll be her 2nd and the 4th one on Evergreen State. So Flug to the line for 2.
Well, that's the one thing Portland's so good at, is they turn you over and they're off to the races the other way, good in transition, and often finish or get themselves to the free throw line.
Flug shot 60% from the free throw line last season. As Cochran checks in, Kai Tu'u headed back to the bench. Andrews leads all scorers with 9 points. As Flug goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line.
Well, I think by the end of the night here tonight, we're going to see a lot of people in that scoring category. And the thing that is so nice about this club is that any given night, they've got weapons that can score. You know, if somebody's not playing well, somebody else can step up.
As Rose Flug hits the 3, and the Pilots on a 10-0 run over the last minute. And they lead 42-20 with 3:22 left to go until halftime.
And just that quickly, you know, it went from a 12-point game to a 22-point game. And, you know, I thought that Evergreen State actually had settled in a little bit and they were getting some better opportunities offensively. Now they're on a scoring drought of 2 minutes. Good timeout here. Get them regrouped, try to get some things going offensively. And defensively, just got to make it a little bit tougher on Portland to stop giving up open looks.
I think you brought up a great point with Portland, too. We've talked about over the last couple seasons. Of course, 2 years ago, they had Kate Anderson, Andrews, Fowler, the three-headed scoring monsters. Last year, they were looking for that third scoring threat. They didn't really get it until the end of the season with Shearer. But now this year, it's, hey, listen, if everybody can pour in 7 or 8 points, we don't need the three-headed monster if everybody's playing well.
Well, and really, they have 7 people that could have double figures on any night. I mean, if they're shooting the ball well and making things happen, they've got multiple weapons.
And that's what makes them so dangerous this season in the WCC is Yenny trapped in the corner.
Oh.
And drops some language on Burnham, who's all smiles. She's not worried about it. And as Bungay checks in for Yenny.
A little bit of frustration right there. Just got to make sure you keep it under control.
Andrews passes it in. 3:12 left to go until halftime. 22-point lead, 42-20 for Portland. Bungay takes it away from Burnham. Still a loose ball. Watson has it.
Good hustle. Oh.
And Garrett. Unfortunate play for Evergreen State. They saved it. Watson was on the ground, gave it up to Beckett, who tried to get it to the outlet to Garrett, and she never had a clean handle of it. Actually went off her head and then out of bounds.
Yeah, just unfortunate because it's a great effort, 50-50 ball. Again, just trying to go too fast, and that's what Portland does to you. Ooh. Missed Frawley there out of that out-of-bounds play.
Portland a 10-0 run over the last minute 30. Make it a 12-0 run. Flug from the free throw line. No points for Evergreen State in almost 3 minutes. They've got 4 turnovers in that span. Bungay runs into trouble. Burnham caught her looking down at the ball and trapped her, but unfortunately she picks up the foul.
Got a little too excited, I think, on that.
Frawley, Andrews, and Burnham to the bench. Meek, Fowler, and Mulheim on the court now.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen this combination all year long.
Garrett running into some trouble. Now she's in the corner. She can't pick up her dribble. She did, gives it up to Batoni, and a foul will be called on Portland. That'll go on Rose Flug.
And that's the spot. You're right. You do not want to pick the ball up right over half court and get yourself trapped.
Yeah, especially with how this particular team traps. They're so lethal with it.
Oh, yeah. Once that ball's picked up, I mean, people are flying in gaps and passing lanes. And unfortunately for Portland, got a little too handsy right there.
Garrett going up against Meek. Picks up her dribble. Bungay to Beckett. Out to Batoni. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Gives it back to Beckett off the glass. Good ball movement by the Geoducks.
That was good ball movement and a good offensive possession by the Geoducks. And she's done a nice job. They've really kind of found that mid-range, high post area that they've had some success with.
Still a 22-point lead right now for Portland, 44-22 with 1:50 left to go until halftime. Fowler kicks it out to Flug. Over to Mulheim in the corner. Bang!
Great extra pass by Flug, and like we said earlier, I mean, she's not going to miss too many of those open looks.
She now has 8 points. Her second three-pointer of the afternoon. Garrett flying down the court, no control, high off the glass, no good. Mulheim, good awareness, and then gives it up as Watson took it away from Cochran on the pass.
Yeah, Cochran's got to step to that ball right there. A lot of times you see bigs kind of wait for it, and that's when the ball gets poked away or something bad happens.
Fowler steps in the way of that pass. Cochran ended up with it. Meek brings it up the court. Flug, she hit one earlier. Oh, she hits her second one.
She's feeling it right now.
She's got 10 points, and she now leads all scorers in the game.
Well, I'd love to see that because she battled injuries all last year. Just wasn't herself, and seems like she's got way more energy and able to move a lot better.
Watson, the offensive rebound and putback. You're right, and even Coach Meek challenged her. to get ready for this season with the talent that came in, and she stepped up in a big way, and it's showing right now. 20 seconds left. Meek puts up a 3. It'll be one and done for Portland.
Well, I mean, the thing that's so nice is we've talked about the depth that they've had. Well, you know, she comes off the bench and is leading scorer right now, and that can happen on any night.
Beckett underneath. 3 seconds left until halftime. Fluke sees it. She puts up the half-court runner. Looks good on an angle.
Yeah. They practice those every shoot around. I bet they practice those.
50-24, the end of the first half. The Pilots are leading by 26. But Jen, thoughts on the Pilots' play in that first half?
I don't think it was their best half. I mean, yes, they have a comfortable lead going into the halftime break here, but I thought they missed a lot of easy looks, a lot of open threes, and I just didn't think they had the intensity. In a game like this, we're going to be fine, or they're going to be fine. But it's going to be a different level in the next few weeks.
Well, it's halftime. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to recap that first half and look over some of those stats on the WCC Network.
Charles and the Pilots will take home the national championship trophy.
If you have fun, you will win. And you'll make me very, very happy. Let's go.
Here we go.
The way, from whether it was the men's team or the women's team, he treated us all equal, and he knew how to get the most out of us individually as well as collectively as a team.
He was a gentleman, a scholar, as they say, but it would be hard not to like Clive. I mean, he lit up a room when he came in. You know, he's always the featured guy when he was around, everybody's talking to him, and he just had a great personality. And
he treated everyone with respect. I don't know that I ever saw Clive have a bad day. If he did, it wasn't apparent how genuine he was and how he treated people.
Tiff? Tiff came to Portland when it was not cool to be at Portland, and the reason we won this today is because of her. So I just, as long as she knows that, you know that, don't you? And the only reason I'm here is because of this lady here.
He thanked me for, helping in the history of the program, and the biggest thing I blurted back to him, I love you.
I don't know how you could put into words what he's done for me. And so what I try to do is just try to get back to the game and honor him by carrying on his legacy in my own way. And I pray that he's proud of me.
Why Portland? Why Portland? Why is this the right time for you?
It's a sleeping giant here. It's going to be a very, very special job, and it's going to be a special place where people want to come and watch and play basketball here.
I be on the grind, only way to shine, hey, yeah. I be on the grind, only way to shine, way, yeah.
As soon as we step over those white lines, it's all business.
This place wants to win. There's a lot of support behind us. We just have to put in the work and go do it now.
We're the only ones in this circle right in here that believes in us. We think we can do it. We know we can do it, but it's about convincing other people that we can do it as well.
That's the kind of chip you need to have on your shoulder. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes to win, and you got to be willing to do whatever it takes for your teammates to win and then pick them up. Get behind us, get behind this team, because it's going to be something special.
We're not that same team that we were the last 3 years. We're not that team, and just, if you don't believe us, just come watch, and you'll see for yourself.
Well, it was an interesting first half for the Portland Pilots as they're taking on Evergreen State. They lead by 26, 50-24, as we're just a few minutes away from the second half start. I'm Brian Syke, joined by Jennifer Mountain. We have your call. Let's take a look at some of those stats in the first half between these two teams. And what's something that really stood out to you, Jen?
Well, I mean, you look at this stat sheet and you think, oh my goodness, I mean, 11 steals in the half, which is great. Only 6 turnovers. 11 assists on 19 field goals. They're sharing the ball. But then you look at 22 points off Evergreen State's turnovers, 22 points in the paint, and then 18 second chance points. And, you know, I look at the stat sheet and you look at this, if you're just somebody walking in and think that's a darn good half for Portland. But I just didn't feel like the energy was quite the way they've played all season long. In a game like this, it's really important that you work on yourself and get better. And I don't know if they got better that half. I would assume that in that halftime speech right there, they're talking about what to do in this second half to get a little bit better and get something out of this second half and different matchups.
What would you try, or what would have you said at halftime to try to get this team to really get a spark going?
Yeah, I mean, they got to play harder. Bottom line is they got to compete a little bit different than what they are right now. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. You get 0-0 right now, different half. And, you know, they got Oregon coming in here in another few days here, and they've got to have a better energy level. He talked about getting off to a great start because against Stanford the other day, he kind of felt like they were a little bit slow, and that's something, you know, that you got to address day in and day out. You don't certainly want to start slow against a team like Oregon coming in here on Saturday. So I would expect him, again, to get a lot of people in this half and just do what they do. They don't need to change anything with what they do because they're pretty darn good, and they have a lot of depth. It's just they got to play with a little bit better intensity level.
Well, Evergreen State at one point was only 1 point behind Portland in the second quarter, 10-9. Excuse me, and then since then, Evergreen State only had 4 points. Meanwhile, Portland poured in 18, and it was part of that 12-0 run to end that first half that really extended that lead for Portland.
Yeah, I thought Evergreen State really in the middle of that first half did a good job of just kind of not turning the ball over, got some decent looks at the rim, got a couple offensive boards, and then that spurt right there, they had too many turnovers, and those turnovers ended up in points really fast. And with a team like Portland and how they play, and they try to take you out of what you do on a normal day, you know, it can add up really quickly, and that's what happened. I would expect them to kind of come back to what they are, not try to go fast. They want to go at a nice clip, but within themselves.
Shearer, Molheim, Andrews, Cochran, and Fowler all starting for the Pilots. Bungay, Batoni, Yenny, Sackrider, and Watson on the court for Evergreen State. Fowler, tough defense, forces that ball to go out of bounds. It'll stay with Evergreen State.
Well, and I like what they've done right off the bat, trying to keep the ball in the middle of the floor instead of in a trapping situation in the corners, which Portland just thrives on.
Sackrider at the free throw line. Cochran will get the rebound.
And that's a good look for her. She's got a nice little touch.
Fowler fighting for position in the paint. Won't convert it into an and one, but she'll head to the line for 2.
And just in that first possession right there, I can tell that Alex Fowler was different. Stronger, went right to the rim. There was no hesitation whatsoever, and just different energy level.
I was going to say, we didn't really see her body anybody up in that first half, and you mentioned it right there. First possession, a complete change from what we saw in that first half. She's 3 for 3 on the night, make it 4 for 4 now.
I mean, she's just so versatile with her size and her strength. She can run, she can pass, she can shoot the three. She is a difficult matchup for a lot of people.
Full court pressure by the Pilots. So Geoducks get it across the timeline with a couple of seconds to spare. Molheim falling down.
And again, a good job by Evergreen State.
Yenny picks up her dribble. Molheim on defense. Sackrider on Andrews. And that's a charge.
And she's just so smart at stepping over there and drawing that. We've seen that multiple times throughout the season. Just a smart heads-up play.
And the one nice thing about this group is there's no one player that thinks they're too good to do any small part, much like we just saw Andrews right there. I mean, she's one of the leading scorers, obviously one of the best passers on the team, but there she is taking a charge defensively.
Well, there's just so many things that she brings to the table, whether it's scoring, defensively, running the show. She's a guard that, a point guard that posts people up constantly.
The baseline jumper by Sackrider falls.
Sackrider again, nice little touch. Nice little short corner shot.
7 points and 4 rebounds now for her. And she's found that one a couple of times. Shearer partially blocked, and Fowler with the finish underneath.
When you can see Portland right now is really going through that high post area, whether it's a high-low look or a penetration from the high post.
And the defense causing trouble, and we've got a push. And that one looks to be on Maddie Mulheim. Her second personal, the first one on the Pilots in the third quarter. Kai Tu'u checks in, Cochran to the bench. Again, the full court pressure by the Pilots. Shearer forces a jump ball, and that's Portland basketball.
And Emmy Shearer, I mean, she's just so active in that press. Athletic and long. You think you're going to get it by her, and all of a sudden, go gadget arms.
Well, she's got good recovery speed, too. You might get her on that first step, but she'll get right back into it as the ball poked away and a turnover for Portland. And she's a player that really came into her own at the back end of last season. Or maybe even you could say the last third of the season, she really came on strong for Portland. As Jenny comes flying in, and I think her head caught the chin of Alex Fowler.
Yeah, it was a great job of anticipating and going to the board. I don't know if it was her head or if her fist hit her. Not on purpose, of course, but.
No. She was just rubbing her forehead as if she just hit it. Shearer with it, top of the key. Fowler, backdoor cut. Great pass and finish.
And that is all set up by Haley Andrews with the back screen against the zone. And we've seen that a few times by these guys.
Oh, great pass to Sackrider, but she can't finish. The vision from Bungay right there to find Sackrider.
And right now, Andrews and Liana are talking about her drop, and she just missed that assignment right there and got fortunate that missed the easy bunny.
Sackrider back with it on the low block, going up against Kai Tu'u. The fadeaway's good, and she's got 9.
I just love how fast they get the ball out and up the floor.
Pilots not wasting any time. Mulheim from the wheel.
That's her spot.
Third three-pointer of the night. And what is another from distance 3 from Mulheim. We've seen her do it so many times. Now she gets the steal and the assist to Shearer. 61-28. That pass is going to go near the Pilots' sideline, saved by Watson, but again, turned over by the Geoducks. Fresh legs on for Portland.
And for the Pilots, number 4, Keely Crawley.
Flug, Crawley, Burnham, Lindsay, and Sewell now on the court for Portland. Beckett checks in for Watson for Evergreen State, and then Shanice Garrett checking in for Monique Bungay.
We got hockey subs right now.
Full line switch.
Yep.
Sewell near the baseline. Flug thought she had the opening, catches iron.
Well, and she did. It's just, again, you've been sitting on the bench. I always like to get up and down a few times before you pull that.
Beckett near the elbow. Burnham on defense. Beckett lost it, gave it up to Batoni. She's short, Crowley rebound. Lindsay bringing it up the court, slows it down, gives it up to Flug. Pilots swing it around. Now Burnham on the block, spins back inside towards the basket. She's short. And Geoduck basketball.
Looks like Frowley got hit going in for that board on the head.
She seems to be wincing, touching her face. That's tough.
I think she's got a bloody nose.
Kaitu checks in for Frawley. That's why I can never be a boxer. You catch one in the face. I couldn't do it. As Batoni gets it up across half court. Lost it for a second, almost traveled, gives it up to Sackrider. Looked to be blocked by Sewell, and it'll be Pilot basketball.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of taking one on the chin.
Yeah, I'll pass that one up every time.
I have had my nose broken a few times, but
cannot imagine. 5:30 left to go in the quarter. Flug left alone for a three. Offensive rebound. Back to Kaitu. Burnham, the wing three from the far side, long. And Garrett running into her own teammate. Almost fell out of bounds, saved the basketball. Geoducks through the defense of the Pilots, and Kaitu going to be called for the foul.
That's a good call. Nice take to the rim, got her with body.
It's Kaitu'u's first, and the second one on the Pilots.
At the line for the Dewey Ducks, number 33, Trinity Batoni for 2.
Batoni at the free throw line. That's her first miss on the season. You know, the last time the Geoducks played in a full season, Batoni averaged 20 points. And she just hasn't found her shot tonight.
Well, she's been rushed. The defense, this type of style is rushing her a little bit. She's had some opportunities, and she's been aggressive, certainly not backing down, and I like that.
Skip pass to Burnham. Sewell at the free throw line, turns around, jumper short. Flug comes flying in, knocks the basketball away, but Garrett gets it on the run. Geoducks have numbers, and the active hands from Lindsay breaks up the fast break.
Great hands by Lindsay.
Feeds it to Kaitu, double teamed. Garrett with the rebound, and we're gonna get a foul call, and I think it's on Maisie Burnham. It will be on Burnham. Her second personal, and the third one on the Pilots this quarter. And that'll bring us to our media. 4:30 left to go in the third quarter, 61-28. The Pilots running away with this one in the Child Center. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Pilots putting up points here early in the third quarter. They now lead 61-28. Geoducks are about to inbound the basketball. Brian Slike, Jennifer Mountain with your call. And Jen, you talked about trying to clean some things up for Portland to start this second half. How do you think they've come out this time around?
I think that the energy level is a little bit better. I still don't think they're shooting the ball that great. I mean, they're on a 2.5 minute scoring drought right now. Both teams are struggling to score the basketball in the last couple minutes, but they're causing a lot of turnovers. They're getting their hands on a lot of balls. I think the energy level definitely has stepped it up, and we're getting a lot of combinations, which I think Meek's going to be really happy about.
Ball poked away. Burnham ends up with it. Pilots 0 for their last 6 from the field. Haven't scored in 2.5 minutes, and Emily Sewell can't finish the drought. They move it around. Lindsay puts up a three. That's short. And a rebound, Evergreen State. Bruno getting in on the mix, and I think she'll get called for the foul. She will.
Little too aggressive right there. You know, you love the idea and you love how hard she plays, but little too handsy, and now we're in the bonus.
5 team fouls now for Portland as Bruno picks up her second personal.
At the line for the Gooey Ducks is number 24, Jalen Sackrider, shooting 2.
The Geoducks just 1 of 4 from the free throw line tonight. Sackrider is the leading scorer and rebounder for Evergreen State. She now has double-digit points with 10.
She's had a nice night. I mean, she's had some nice short corner looks, high post looks, couple moves inside. Nice little touch.
Missing the free throw there. 1 for 2 from the stripe. Meek to Bruno to Sewell. I mean, effectively, you got 4 freshmen out on the court right now for Meek as Lindsay puts up the 3. Bruno rebound, blocked from behind by Sackrider.
Nice block from behind. Love the aggressiveness on the weak side offensive board by Bruno.
And Sackrider misses the bunny shot. And both sides have missed that shot, particularly on that side of the court tonight. Sewell steps into it. No good. Bruno, offensive rebound. Burnham out to Meek.
Well, I tell you, you put Burnham and Bruno in, you got 2 athletic guards going to the boards every single time, and that's a way to give you second opportunities for sure.
Yenny picked up the foul. Oh, correction. Beckett picked up the foul. Burnham hit the deck hard, but she seems to be doing okay. But you're right, both Burnham and Bruno, high energy players. Or just going after the loose balls, and you love to have that type of player out on the court, especially when you get both of them out there.
Exactly.
Former Big Sky Freshman of the Year, Burnham missing the free throw. Trying to poke the ball away from Garrett.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We talked to Coach Mink, like you said earlier, in the beginning of the weekend, and he just thought they hadn't shot the ball very well yet. And, you know, same thing here tonight. I think he's going to walk away and say, you know, we did some good things. We just didn't shoot the ball very well.
And if you're the rest of the WCC, as Sewell makes the basket from just beyond the free throw line, it's almost a scary thought, because if this team starts to hit their shots with consistency, I mean, they're going to put up the points, and then they definitely have the defense to cause trouble.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, a team that's winning the way they are and playing the way they are and not shooting the ball very well is a very dangerous squad.
No field goals in almost 5 minutes for Evergreen State as Bruno was called for the foul. That'll be her 3rd personal in the 6th one on the Pilots. Batoni at the line. Lindsay in for Bruno.
Pilots number 32, Kelsey Lindsay.
Batoni 0 for 2 from the free throw line. Makes her first free throw attempt this time around. Senior from Henderson, Nevada. Burnham getting another rebound. She's got 7. Meek to Burnham. The 3 falls. She's got 8 points and 7 rebounds.
And just, I mean, high energy, great contribution off the bench, and energy. Does the little things.
Yenny with the lefty floater, and now you're gonna get a foul on the back end on Burnham. She came in to get the rebound against Watson. And here's another look as Meek got it down the court. Burnham left all alone, top of the key. Burnham heads to the bench. Kai Tu'u out on the floor. And now you got Coach Batzel talking with Burnham as she's on the bench at the end, getting some water. And what do you think they could be talking about?
Well, you know, it's learning the system. Like she's coming in basically as a newcomer, has to learn everything and the way they play, different spots. She's playing multiple different positions, so he's probably helping her a little bit on angles and what she needs to do in that press to be a little bit more effective.
Watson high off the glass, no good. Lindsay pushing the ball up to Kai Tu'u, and she is fouled by Monique Bungay. So Kai Tu'u will head to the line with 1:40 left to go in the third quarter.
Kai Tu'u's got to finish that.
At the line with Pilots, number 23, Liana Kaituku.
I think she thought there might be a bit more physicality on that one as she went up. Just miscalculated it. Missing the free throw here. Kai Tu'u normally 60% free throw shooter.
Seemed a little frustrated after that free throw.
Cleaned it up that time around. She now has 3 points and 2 rebounds and an assist so far tonight.
And she's another one of those that any night can have a double figure night. She does certain things that make it really hard on opponents, and I think she's missed a couple easy ones today.
Well, we mentioned it near the beginning of the broadcast as Bungay with the air ball, but just having Kai Tu'u, Fowler, and Cochran all with the ability to move with the ball just makes them so dangerous down low.
Yeah, it's not like you have a post that's just stuck on a block. I mean, you have versatile players in all three of them.
There's a feed to Kai Tu'u from Frawley, and it slipped out of her hands, turnover. It's a nice touch by Frawley to get it over the defender.
And she's another one, quite frankly, who can play the guard, can play inside. She's got enough size to play a four, stretch four. And she plays really hard.
Final minute of play here in the third quarter. Beckett near the elbow, back to Yenny. She puts up a three, banks it in.
And that kid's a competitor. I was watching her in warm-ups, and I mean, she was working on her game with coach before, 45 minutes before the game even started. Got a lot of shots up.
Lindsay answers with a three of her own. She's now in the scoring column. 3 points and 2 rebounds and a steal. Meek hits the deck, fighting for the loose ball. Jump ball to go with Evergreen State.
Good hustle. And she fed on that behind the back dribble, and against pressure like this, behind the back, and if you turn your back, you're gonna have somebody flying at you.
Evergreen State just one of their last 8 from the floor. That was Yenny's bank three on their last possession. Somehow the pass got all the way through to Watson after a couple of deflections, and she turns it into 2.
I'm not sure how that pass got there, but
5 seconds left in the quarter. Corner three from Frawley. No good. Rebound, Kai Tu'u tries to put it up, and a foul called with 0.5 seconds left on the clock. Kai Tu'u will head to the line. I almost didn't hear the whistle on that one.
yeah, and certainly one that she would want to have back, at least from defensively, not offensively.
Makes the first free throw, went 1 for 2 in her most recent trip to the line. And Kai Tu'u now 3 for 4 from the stripe. And that'll end the third quarter, 73-36. The Pilots extending their halftime lead. We'll be right back with the start of the fourth quarter on the WCC Network. Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter inside the Child Center. The Pilots leading 73-36. And right now the Pilots sort of hitting a groove at the end of that third quarter. Crowley keeping the ball alive. Offensive rebound for Portland.
Well, I tell you, just taking a peek at the stat sheet, one of the things that stood out was 30 bench points for Portland tonight. And when you have that many points of production coming from your bench, you're going to be a happy coach.
Meek trying to come up and get the steal on Garrett. Tony into the corner to Watson. Beckett, Tony going up against Bruno. 10 on the shot clock for Garrett. Bungay puts up the three, nails it.
Good job of staying patient there and moving the ball side to side, and finally got an open look.
Guy Tu'u's pass deflected. Crowley ends up with it, high off the glass, converts.
Little ball fake there might be something they need to work on. They've had a lot of tip passes on that high-low, and they've got the right idea. They just got to execute it a little bit better.
Crowley 4 points, 7 rebounds, and a steal. Bruno flies in defensively, middle of the court to go up against Beckett. Geoducks kick it out, 10 on the shot clock. Bungay, short. Meek up the court, tries to find Kai Tu'u, threading the needle, and one! I didn't think Meek was gonna get it in there.
Well, she wasn't looking for it, and then all of a sudden she turned around. I mean, watch this. She was looking the other way. Great catch.
Little back shoulder throw right there. It's Kai Tu'u at the line. If she makes this next free throw, she'll tie a career high in made free throws in a game. She had 4 against Pacific last season.
I mean, that's a great catch. And finish.
77-39. 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Garrett's pass, no look, off of Sackrider's hands to Watson. But Tony all alone in the paint, no defender in front of her. Gets the friendly bounce it in.
Well, and they've done a nice job all day of really finding that high post area, the mid-range, and had some success.
Probably could have taken a little bit of the mustard off of that one. That pass to Kai Tu'u almost took her head off, but she finishes. Back to Vitoni, Sackrider. Bungay gets near the paint and short. Meek rips away the rebound. Setting up the offense, gives it up to Lenzi. Chucks up a three. Yes! The 10th three-pointer for Portland.
Nice in rhythm and transition. It's nice to see Meek out there too. Just fought an injury at the beginning of the season.
Sackrider almost traveled, has to put a shot up. Crowley rebound.
Good job by Bruno, just standing her ground, not picking up a foul.
Oh, the pass from Crowley inside to Kai Tu'u. She gets fouled. She'll head to the line for 2.
Great job of getting position. Just needed to finish with her left hand right there.
Crowley, too, the vision, seeing Kai Tu'u blocking off the defender and getting the pass in the right spot to allow her to get to the hoop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kai Tu'u 3 for 5 from the line. Make it 4 for 6, and she now has tied her career high in made free throws.
New career high.
Almost. And foul's going to be on MJ Bruno. She can't believe she got called for that one. And I believe that's her 4th foul it is. And the first one for Portland in this quarter.
Well, you love the aggressiveness, that's for sure.
Sewell and Lenzi checking in. Kai Tu'u and Bruno to the bench. And Meek just telling her, you know, those things happen, it's okay. Not upset with her after she picks up her 4th foul. Beckett, middle of the court. Sewell rebound. Crowley moving it up the court. No look, back to Lindsay. Frawley in the corner. Sewell on the low block, gives it up to Fluke.
Great ball movement.
15 on the shot clock. Meek gives it up to Sewell. And got the roll. You know, I liked Meek didn't rush that shot right there. She didn't have the cleanest handle. Regrouped and then found the easier pass to Sewell.
Yep, heads up play, and gosh, I think everybody touched that ball twice in that possession right there.
Pilots are on an 8-0 run over the last minute 40. Sackrider trying to end that. She does. She's got 12 points, 7 rebounds. Frawley near the elbow. Sewell to Fluke. Fluke's got 10. Make it 12.
She's done a nice job of coming in off the bench and being a scorer. I think she rushed one shot, but she's taking good shots and nice little mid-range pull-up.
High pass to Sackrider, poked away by Meek. Pilots have numbers. Fluke gives it up to Lindsay. Frawley fighting for that rebound, but Beckett ends up with it. Almost got the steal as Petone hits the deck. So does Frawley. Those two helping each other up. And Frawley picking up her second personal.
But she just plays so hard. You know, just pursuit, pursuit, pursuit constantly.
Bruno back out on the court. And we have a timeout called on the floor by the Pilots. And (87-43). We'll stick around for this break. But the Pilots come out much stronger here in the second half than what we saw in the first half. Currently, they're 6 of their last 7 shooting from the field. And all that without their starters in right now. You've got a younger group of kids out on the court, and they're producing.
Well, yeah, and you know, this is their moment. I mean, you got to be ready to go anytime your number's called, and you know, opportunity to play. And again, these guys are so deep that they're all going to get minutes at some point. So it's coming in and producing, and that's what they're doing. I love the energy. I think they've done a nice job with the high-low versus the zone. I love the aggressiveness. They've pulled the press back a little bit, which I think is smart, just kind of working on some other things, maybe a little half-court 1-3-1, little matchup. But for the most part, I think that there's been a lot of people that have contributed good minutes today.
You see, you're getting almost everybody that's involved that hasn't been redshirted has gotten into the game today. And right now, Keely Frawley with nice pack on her head on the bench after she caught some heat from Evergreen State.
Well, she had a nice little egg when she came back in that forehead. And those hurt.
Yeah, it's something I would like to avoid at all costs. As Petone and the Geoducks bring it up across half court. Resume play here in the fourth quarter. Brian Slyke and Jennifer Mountain with your call. Sackrider picks up her dribble. Garrett stepping into the 3, just to the left. Meek to hand off to Lindsay. Gets it into the paint to Burnham.
Good job of using her body right there and being strong. Again, just that length is really hard. People are going to see that all season long.
She did a good job hanging with Beckett on the low block and getting the shot she wanted. And it sounded like Sewell got a tip on that ball, but it still falls for Evergreen State.
Crafty. I like it.
That ends a 12-2 run for Portland. They've hit 7 of their last 8 shots. They play hot potato. Now Burnham goes baseline underneath with the reverse, no good. And off of Evergreen State.
That was a good cut. She thought she was going to get hit on that reverse.
And now it looks like we have another break on the floor. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for Portland. I don't have it on my screen. After today's game, November 30th, Pilots are hosting Warner Pacific. That game will be at 7 p.m. And then on December 4th, number 9, Oregon comes to town. And they'll be facing the Pilots inside the Child Center at 6 p.m. And then another home game on December 9th against CSUN before they hit the road for their crosstown matchup against Portland State.
Yeah, nice schedule coming up. They got a nice, kind of in-town game with Warner Pacific coming in here on Tuesday, and then a huge game with Oregon coming to town. And, I think it's going to be a great matchup, good energy. You got number 9, and they've lost a couple here lately and playing without some big-time players for them. So it'll be a good test for Portland. And, Coach Meek talked about that better start. They played really well in that second half against Stanford. They've got to start good from the beginning.
Well, those two teams played last year inside the Child Center. If I remember correctly, it was nearly a 30-point win for Oregon. And you have to think that Coach Meek wants that rematch to happen soon, because I bet you he believes his team can play a lot better than what they did last season against Kelly Graves and the Ducks.
Well, they have more talent this year. I think the way they play always poses a problem for people, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. They're going to have to shoot the ball a little bit better than they did today.
There's the inbound to Burnham, gets her own offensive board, kicks it out to Meek. Lindsay left alone, corner 3, iron, Sack Ryder rebound. Burnham's close to a double-double. She's got 10 points, 8 boards.
Well, I don't think that's the last time you're going to say that all season.
No, not at all. She is up and down the court.
Good hands.
Lindsay, back to Meek. Hit one shot against Prairie View A&M in their last game in Hawaii. Offensive rebound. Meek this time brings it inside the three-point line, hits the jumper from the free throw line.
Well, I like that decision. She hasn't shot. I don't think she's made a 3 tonight. Instead of pulling it, make that one little dribble jump up.
Yeah, 0 for 3 from behind the arc. Beckett from the baseline.
I'm surprised they haven't gone to Beckett a little bit more. She's been real fluent and had some nice little touches with it.
Beckett 6 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. Sewell out to Meek, takes it inside again. Now to Sewell, baseline, hits it.
Mikkel Meek just makes that extra pass. Smart play, knows where people are on the floor, great vision.
Sewell's got 6 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. He's having a nice afternoon against Evergreen State. Sack Ryder, the leading scorer for Evergreen State, kicks it out. 10 on the shot clock. Yenny, floater, left hand, no good. Sack Ryder, offensive board. Lindsay and the Pilots bring it up. That pass hanging as Meek gets to it.
That's a long cross-court pass.
Bruno, the 3, iron, and Burnham hitting the deck hard again. She'll get called for the foul. That's her 4th personal one, and the 3rd on the Pilots. Kaylee Frawley checking in, Burnham to the bench. 93-47 as we get to the 2-minute mark left in the game. Vitoni goes baseline, lost it momentarily. And Beckett gets fouled, and that one's going to be on, I think, MJ Bruno, and that'll be her 5th. She is now fouled out. 2 points, 5 rebounds on the night.
Well, you love her aggressiveness. She's just got to control it a little bit more, and I love how she competes and a lot of energy. And she just hasn't had a lot of playing time with being injured for the last month. She's going to do a lot of really good things for this ball club, and you know, as the season progresses, I assume that her role is going to change here and there.
I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, she got some play in that exhibition game against Willamette, and then she was dealing with that injury, so we haven't seen much of her, and you're right. This is the first time we've seen her since then.
Yep.
Sewell stepping down the baseline. Good move by the freshman.
She's had some good minutes today, and I think the first couple games that we've had an opportunity to watch her, she was a little nervous, just trying to find her way, and she's got some long, you know, she's got some length and some size and some strength.
She'll cause trouble in the middle for sure.
Yep.
Pass up to Lindsay from Meek. Oh, and one. Yenny picks up the foul. That's her third personal.
And that's a good job of using your body and protecting the ball.
Pilots on a 6-0 run over the last 90 seconds. Strong take with the left hand in the finish. Lindsay missing the free throw, converting the and one. Portland 4, their last 5 from the field. Garrett to Yenny. Beckett with it. Finds herself in the paint. The mismatch on Lindsay.
And that's a smart move. You know, she has a size advantage. She's got a nice little turnaround jumper. Again, I just don't know why they didn't go to her a little bit more often today.
97-49. 45 seconds left. Lindsay with it, 6 on the shot clock. Taking it to Yenny, gives it up to Sewell. Her shot's long, no connection on the rim.
I like the decision, though. Great penetration and kick, just missed the shot there.
20 seconds. Vitoni off the glass, no good. Rebound, Frawley. And that gives her 10 rebounds. Flug will take it across half court. And dribble it out, and that'll be it. 97-49, the Portland Pilots are victorious against Evergreen State. A game that didn't start out the strongest. We probably would have thought Portland came out a bit stronger, converting those easier baskets, but they turned it on in the second half and really turned things around.
Yeah, I thought the energy level was a lot better in the second half. I don't think overall today they shot the ball very well, but when you're not shooting the ball, they did some other things. So I like the effort. I think they're going to learn from it. I think they're going to talk about the energy level in the first half, just again having a strong start.
We'll be talking to Rose Flug momentarily for our post-game interview. Alex Fowler led the way with 14 points, Frawley 10 rebounds, and then Mikkel Meek leading the way in the assist category with 8 on the night.
She did a great job. I mean, she didn't play a ton of minutes today, and to have 8 assists, I mean, just, you know, that's where she's carving up the defense and nice little kicks and people making little jump shots, and just, she's a real heads-up smart player.
As Flug is getting ready now. Rose, can you hear us? All right, Rose, thank you for joining us for the post-game interview. You finished with 12 points, and the offense sort of slow in the beginning, but how did you guys get things going here?
Yeah, I think it definitely took us a little bit to get going. I think we had to make sure that we needed to execute and keep doing our stuff regardless. So I think Mike had to get on us a little bit. But I think once we started to get going on defense, that kind of turned into our offense, and then we got it going a little bit.
What was the message at halftime? I mean, you guys had a little bit of a different start. I know that locker room was probably a little bit different. What did Coach say at halftime?
You know, he didn't say a lot. I think he was pretty disappointed. I think, you know, we got to come out better. We got to start off better, especially once we start getting into conference play and stuff. That's not really going to work. So we just got to keep focusing, keep doing what we do, and execute, and just keep working hard.
You know, at the end of the game, we saw a lot of the younger players get in. How nice was it to see them contribute at a high level?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, these girls work so hard. They got such a great attitude. It's so cool to see. So we love seeing them get in there, hit some shots. So that's super fun.
Moving into Tuesday, you guys have one more before the Ducks come to town. What are the goals and things that you guys are going to focus on in the next couple days?
Yeah, I think, Mike always says our goal is to go 1-0, so I think we don't overlook anybody. We focus on Warner Pacific first and then get to the Ducks, but I think we just got to keep executing, keep working on what we can control, and, Sky always says it's us versus the game of basketball. It's not us versus the opponent, so keep getting better as we can, and then go from there.
Well, Rose, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the win, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And that was Rose Flug. I'm Brian Slack, Jennifer Mountain. We had your call. And Jen, do you have any final thoughts on tonight's game before we let the people go?
No, just if you get a chance to come out and watch these gals, I mean, this is a great team. I think they're going to do really good in the conference, and big games coming up in the next week.
Next game coming up on Tuesday as the ladies take on Warner Pacific inside the Child Center. We'll catch you then on the WCC Network.